My name is Antonia. I'm 44 years old. I live with my husband, Eric. He's 49 now, and we've been together for 21 years. We have 3 beautiful children, my greatest blessings. But even after all this time, there's a part of me that has never healed. Even after 2 decades, I still can't forgive my husband's parents. So many years have passed, but the pain they caused remains like a shadow I can't escape. Sometimes I wonder, if I had known what was waiting for me in that new country, I might never have gone. I might have chosen a different life altogether. Back then, I was only 20, young, naive, and full of hope. I thought love would be enough to protect me from everything. I didn't know how wrong I was. When Eric told me we were moving to his country, I felt torn. Excited to start our new life, but heartbroken to leave everything I knew behind. We lived with my parents before the move. A small home filled with warmth, laughter, and the smell of my mother's cooking. It was safe there. It was love. Then, suddenly, the time came sooner than expected. We had to leave earlier than we'd planned. I remember standing in the doorway with my suitcase in hand, watching my mother's eyes fill with tears. She tried to be strong for me. She smiled and said, "You'll be okay, my daughter. You'll build a good life." But when I hugged her, I felt her shoulders tremble. I knew she was trying not to cry. When I stepped away, it felt like a part of my heart stayed behind with her. I had never been apart from her before. The thought of leaving her, my home, my family, my entire world. It was unbearable. The journey to my new home was long and cold. I looked out the airplane window and saw clouds floating beneath me. And I felt smaller than I'd ever felt before. I kept whispering to myself, "You'll be fine. You'll get through this." But when we arrived, everything felt strange. The air, the language, the people, nothing felt familiar. And my husband's parents, they didn't welcome me the way I had hoped. They looked at me like I was an outsider who didn't belong. At first, I tried to be kind, respectful, quiet. I helped around the house, I smiled, I said thank you. But nothing I did was ever enough. Eric didn't defend me. He was too afraid of his father. He always listened to whatever his parents said. So I learned to keep my pain inside. I cried silently at night while holding my baby in my arms. I felt invisible, like a stranger in my own marriage. Soon after moving, I became sick. The homesickness was unbearable. I missed my mother so much that it physically hurt. My heart ached like something inside me was breaking. And no one seemed to care. Eric's parents didn't offer comfort. They never asked how I was. They just told me to stop crying and be grateful. There were nights when I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to hold back tears so no one would hear me. I kept reminding myself that I had to stay strong for my son. For my mother who worried about me from across the world. Months passed, and I visited doctors because I was always tired and weak. The doctor told me, "You need to rest. You're under too much stress." I wanted to laugh. Rest? How could I rest when I felt so alone? My husband didn't care. His parents hated me. I had no one. Slowly, I began to rebuild myself. I started working, even though it wasn't easy. I didn't speak the language well, and every day was a challenge. Simple things, taking the bus, reading a sign, asking for help, made me feel lost and small. But I refused to give up. I studied, practiced, and learned. Step by step, I built a life for myself. Eventually, I found a good job. I started earning money. And for the first time in a long time, I felt proud. My dream was to buy a house, a place that was truly mine. A place where no one could tell me I didn't belong. I worked hard, saved every penny. And slowly that dream began to take shape. Eric, on the other hand, struggled. He never learned the language properly. Even now, after all these years, he still can't speak it fluently. For a long time, he didn't have a job. And I had to support our entire family on my own. But I stood by him. I was loyal. I worked, took care of our children, and carried his weight along with my own. Then came the years when my mother-in-law started to show her true colors. At first, she acted kind, pretending to care. She'd say things like, "I always wanted a daughter." But her eyes told a different story. She often compared me to other women. "All the other wives have their mothers here," she'd say. "But you don't. Maybe that's why you're different." Her words cut deep. Now, when I think back, I realize what she meant. She wanted control, not love. She wanted obedience, not kindness. I can't give her what she wants anymore. Now, I only give her respect, the minimum that's required. I greet her on holidays. I smile when I have to. But that's it. There's nothing left in my heart for her. My mother passed away 10 years ago. And even now, not a day goes by that I don't think of her. I still feel guilty for not visiting her as often as I should have. I remember how my mother-in-law used to tell me, "Don't call your mother too much. It's expensive." So I limited myself to one short phone call a month. I'd tell my mother I was fine, even when I was crying inside. Then I'd hang up quickly before anyone could get angry. Now that she's gone, I would give anything, to hear her voice again. Over the years, I came to see the truth. Eric's parents never liked me. They never accepted me. In fact, I think they hated me from the very beginning. But nothing compares to what my father-in-law did. That memory still haunts me. One night, after an argument, he kicked me out of the house. With my baby in my arms. I was trembling. My husband was drunk and shouting. I just wanted a safe place to stay. But my father-in-law stood at the door and said, "You can go back to your home if you want. But the child stays here." I will never forget that moment. His words froze me. I looked down at my son's face, so innocent, so small. And I knew there was no way I was leaving him behind. So I stayed. I swallowed my pride, my fear, and my pain. Because a mother never abandons her child. It's been more than 20 years since that night. But even now, when I think about it, I still cry. I still feel the same ache in my chest. Sometimes I ask myself, why didn't I fight back? Why didn't I speak up for myself? Maybe because I was scared. Maybe because I believed that being quiet was the only way to survive. Now, I see those people at family gatherings. And I force a smile. I greet them politely. But inside, I feel like I'm wearing a mask. A mask of calm that hides all my old wounds. It hurts me to be kind to them. It hurts to pretend that everything is fine when it isn't. I feel trapped between who I was and who I want to be. I'm sorry if my story sounds confused or sad. It's hard to put all these feelings into words. So many years of silence. So many tears I never let fall. But I needed to share it. To remind myself that I survived. That despite everything, I kept going. I may never forgive my husband's parents. And maybe that's okay. Maybe forgiveness isn't the goal. Maybe healing is. I know I can't erase the past. But I hope one day I'll be able to live without the pain. To finally breathe freely. To smile without pretending. Because after all these years, I've learned something important. Even the deepest wounds can teach us how strong we really are. If you liked my story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.